Hello everyone, this is Nometa here, happy to make you a Gusto deck profile. And without further ado, let's just get right into it, huh? And for starters, I played 3 Gusto Goldo. Gusto Goldo is here because he's a great floater, being able to special summon a Gusto from your deck whenever he is sent from the field to the graveyard. And that basically makes him a reliable floater, so that way you're always protected against direct attack, in my opinion. Next, we have Vidir. Vidir is one of the newest supports, and he's actually one of the best supports that Gustos could have ever asked for. He special summons himself from the hand, and when he special summon or when he summon in general, he dumps a Gusto from your deck to the graveyard and special summons another Gusto from your hand. And basically, this one is a pretty easy synchro play once he's summoned. Next is Eagles. Eagles here at 3, even though he's not a great floater as Goldo, he's still pretty good. The only limitation that kind of irritates me is the fact that he needs to be destroyed by battle in order to have his floating effect goes off. But it's still a reliable effect, especially if your opponent doesn't see it coming. Being able to special summon a Pelica or a window with this is always going to be useful. And then next is Griffin. Griffin's here at 2. I don't like to play him at 3. 2 I think is a perfect amount, and the reason that is because of that new spell card that they got last year. It allows me to discard a card in order to search for another spell or trap Gusto card, and this is a clear option to discard because when this is discarded, I'm able to special summon a Gusto monster from my deck, which allows me to make an easy synchro play or a link play. Next I play Tuwinda, the waifu of the deck. A lot of people's favorites. Not mine, but So I play Tuwinda here because she basically, when she's destroyed by battle, I'm able to special summon another Gusto from my deck. This essentially helps out with the OTK of the deck, just smacking myself into my opponent's monster whenever I have another Gusto monster that we'll get into later, and basically destroy my opponent by sacrificing my cards. The next one is a great extender, one of my favorite cards in the entire deck. 3, Pelica. Now, Pelica is a great option in this deck because it extends your plays. It allows you to basically go into synchro plays right off the bat, especially if you use Vidir's effect to special summon her, and allows her to special summon the Gusto that was done with Vidir's effect. This is an instant freeze, in my opinion. Next, for recyclability, you just need the 1. And what a beautiful card it is. 1 Cam. Now Cam's here because she recycles your Gusto cards from your graveyard back into the deck and allows you to draw 1 card. She's really easy to bring out, and there's no reason not to have at least one of her. This is a tech. I'm not certain if I'll bump this down, but in the meantime, I use 3 Win, the Wind Charmer. Now, Win is here because she essentially allows me to discard her and another card from my hand in order to search for a Wind monster. And that goes great with Griffin. Not only will I get a search if I were to discard her and Griffin, but Griffin's effect can go off and allows me to special summon from the deck. And I mean, that's a great combo. You can't really ask for more than that. And the reason I might bump this down to 2 is because she can clog. Sometimes you don't want to discard. And that. So this is kind of a tech that I had to make off the bat with the previous ban list. Kind of upset about that. But you know what? This is a pretty good replacement. This replayed replace the barrier statues that I used to have in here, since I can't no longer just special summon a barrier statue from the deck. But this basically outs you any boss monster that your opponent has. You know, Kaiju's gonna Kaiju because they don't care. And if I were to take one of the Wind Charmers out, I would add one more of Ice Bell. And this is pretty self-explanatory. It's an instant crystal wing. That's why I have this in here. It's also a win. It goes great with the deck. And if I have Ice Bell, then you know I'm going to have two Glass Bell. Glass Bell allows me to search for another card in here that I'm going to bring out. It's a great way to go into level 7 Synchro monsters, which I do have a couple in here. The one Snowbell, I only use the one. If I had more space, I'd probably do two because it allows me to special summon it from my hand, and it protects my Synchro monsters that I used to summon with it. And that's all the monsters. Now then, for spells, 3 Tailwind. Tailwind is such a great card. Equip this card to a Gusto monster, allows me to special summon another Gusto monster depending on the type that I equip it to. If it's a 4 or lower, special summon one Gusto monster from your deck with a different type and of the equipped monster. If it's a 5 or higher, which I'm not going to do that because I don't have a level 5 or higher Gusto monster in here, special summon one level 1 tuner monster from my deck. Now, I have tried that version, with level 5 or higher Gusto monsters. It's just not that good. But other than that, this card is incredible. I'm so happy I got it. Next, 3 E-Teleports. It's E-Teleport. This is a Psychic deck. You have to have 3 in here. If you don't, ignore the gold, okay? This has to be another thing. It won't work as good as the secrets. You have to get a secret. Replace this. Other than that, E-Teleport is basically self-explanatory. I don't need to go into it. Everyone knows what it does, and everyone knows how good it is. For the one-offs, 1 Monster Reborn. It's Monster Reborn. You don't know what it does. 1 for 1, because we do have level 1s in here. And 1 Called by the Grave. And that's it for the spells. And I don't run that many traps in here, but I like to use 2 Gusto Blessings. This is more recyclability. This way you don't go through your monsters that fast. Because amazingly, Gustos actually go through their monsters pretty fast, and you're going to want to put them back into the deck. That way you can, reuse them. This also applies to the extra deck. It's a great tech. I love it. It also saves your butt in case, your opponent's going for a direct attack. I use 2 Infinite Imprints because I only have the 2. If I had 3, I would use 3. And a very small Solemn package. Enough of that. Everyone knows what Solemn does. Now then, for the extra deck, I think I'm pretty proud of the extra deck. It's pretty nice. But I use 1 Goldos. Goldos is a pretty easy level 5. It's pretty easy to go to. And I use this more as a way to go into level 8s. Not really actually use the effect or anything, but it's a great card to have. Now, I have a lot of boss monsters in this deck, especially the extra deck. But none of them are as important in my opinion as this one, because she guarantees you're going to win if you bring her out. And that goes to those freeze. Not many monsters can get over Freeze's effect unless you negate it right off the bat, which is, it's not like not much can go around her, especially if your opponent can't respond to her. you're gonna win. What she does is whenever your Gustos are destroyed by battle, your opponent takes damage, not you. And that's the thing about Gustos. Once she's out, just crash. And with their low attacks, and if you attack your opponent's boss monster with this, you're gonna win. You're just gonna win, straight up. It's freeze, the most important extra deck card in my opinion. Now, the new support gave us a new Daigusto monster, Lalamphilica. Lalamphilica is a great extender in my opinion. This one allows you to go to a freeze at the same time that she is special summoned. So, she's in here. I use 2. You don't have to use 2, but that's my decision. And for level 7s, I use 1 Daigusto Eagles. Eagles is here mainly for me to go into higher level synchro plays, although, you know, it's got a pretty good attack. So, and it allows me to destroy one monster on the one face down card on the field at the end of my turn. So that's always handy, but I rarely go into that effect. I mainly use it to go into higher synchro plays. I use 1 Chanabara to go for game. Pretty easily explained. 1 Clearwind Synchro Dragon for the Wind Witch place. Pretty easily explained. And of course, to finish the Wind Witch combo, 1 Crystal Wind Synchro Dragon. Become indestructible and have a non-negate. That's always good. I use 1 Cyber Splash Harpy Lady. Being able to bounce cards back to the hand is always a good thing. And she's also very, very, very beautiful card. 1 Borlord Savage Dragon. Great option in my opinion. I do have a couple links in here, so being able to have a negate on the board is always great. 1 Diamond Bell. Being able to pop a card when your opponent takes damage is always going to be a good tech option. 1 Barrel on the Floor. We all know what she does. She's a great card in any synchro deck, so yes, obvious choice. And for my only link, 1 Wind Charmer. She's mainly here as a tech. I don't really use her more than as a way to bring out Borlo Savage Dragon so he can have his negates. And that's my Gusto deck profile. I hope you liked it. You know, I have a lot of fun playing this deck. And it's always good to have something casual when you're at locals, you know? You don't really need much to have a good time. You don't always have to play meta. And that's why I choose mainly non-meta decks. Well, and that's my deck pro. You guys have a good day. Bye-bye.